YouTube, it's Missy, and today I'm here to share with you guys my most anticipated reads for the month of February 2021. This video is going to be hopefully not too long. I do have 24 books that I want to cover, and I will be leaving timestamps down below. I will be doing the YA books, the first 12, and I will leave that chunked up in the timestamps so you can check out the time bar on the bottom of the video and you'll see the chapters. So you can click on whatever you're interested in reading. So the YA books will be first and the adult books will be second. The adults do have two nonfiction in them, so if you guys like nonfiction, you might be interested in the ones that I'm interested in reading. And yeah, let's get started. The first book that I'm interested in reading for YA is called What Big Teeth. Now look at this cover. This is a cover by well, I haven't purchased it yet, but this is definitely a cover buy. It is a gorgeous cover, and the inside I'm hoping is just as gorgeous. This is by Rose Szabo, S-Z. Szabo? I don't know, not sure. It came out on February 2nd. I'm really interested in page sizes recently, so if it's a smallish book, I'll let you know, because I know that right now in 2021 I'm interested in reading all the small books I can. This is, like I said, a YA horror. It's got all of these check boxes that I'm very interested in reading about. It's got a boarding school, it's got wild family, monstrous relatives, and it's a gothic fantasy. Those are all up my alley. I'm very excited, and that's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to ruin the surprise for you, so if you like any of those buzzwords and you're interested in this cover, the book's already out. You can purchase it now. All right, the book that I'm interested in reading is This Is Not the Jess Show by Carey. Yes, I do own the book. I did receive this from Quark a long time ago, sometime last year, and it just kept getting pushed into 2021, and then so they sent me the finished copy, and I'm very excited to read this. I did talk about it in my February TBR. This takes place in 1998. Our main character is a junior in high school. In 1998, I was also a junior in high school, so I'm actually really excited to read this. I wonder if Carey is my age. That would make sense if she was like writing, but also reminiscing about her own teenage years. So looking forward to reading that one. It says it's a YA mystery. If you like Black Mirror and you like My So-Called Life and you put those together, it's kind of like what the book is about. However, when I read the synopsis, it really reminded me of The Truman Show with Jim Carrey. And so I don't know. I'm excited to read it. It is called A Murderous Relation. Here's the cover. This is actually book 5 by Deanna Raybourn. I'm putting this on my list because I do have a curious beginning on my most anticipated reads from years ago. Again, this is the 5th book. I've been meaning to read this book forever, and I still haven't picked it up. And a lot of people say it's amazing. It's a YA historical fiction mystery, and the series is called the Veronica Speedwell series. And yeah, it says that this book, The Murderous Relation, came out last year in hardcover, but if you wanted to buy it in paperback, then it did come out in paperback on the 2nd of February. So, book that I'm like super crazy about, obsessed even, is called The Obsession. This is by Jessie Q. Sutano. It also came out on February 2nd, and it's a YA thriller about a stalker who is in love with a girl, and he like stalks her all the time. He knows wherever she is, what she does, blah blah blah. One day while he's spying on her, he sees her kill somebody, and he's like, oh, this is great, because now he can say, hey, I saw you kill someone, like a blackmail kind of thing. I saw you kill someone, and if you don't want me to tell on you, then you gotta be with me. I'm interested to know if she's going to try to kill him as well, because that would make sense. If she could kill one person, what makes us, the readers, think she couldn't kill the stalker? And he hasn't shown any murderous tendencies as of just the synopsis. So I wonder if he also tries to kill her. I don't know. I'm interested. Not the punchline, but the line that they show is classic love story where somebody might end up dead. All right, I want to read it. That sounds exciting to me. All right, next book on my list is the Gilded one, and this one I had on my list last year, and then I had to take it out of the video because it actually didn't come out. This one is coming out on February 9th. This is by Namina Forna. Yeah, it's a YA book, and it has like blood ceremonies in it. So if that's one of your buzzwords, like Divergent had a blood ceremony. I think a couple other YA like fantasy books had a blood ceremony in it. And so this one, the blood ceremony is between red and gold. If you have red blood, then you are automatically prestigious and everybody loves you and you're at the top. The people that are the best have the red blood. If you have gold blood, then you're an outcast and you might as well just die because nobody likes you. But the main character, Dika, has a choice, like a lot of our blood ceremony characters end up having. You get this choice, right? So she can either fight for the Empire or fight for the Emperor and be called a near immortal or the Alakai, or she can go ahead and die. That's her options. She can have a fate worse than death, where she's ridiculed and nobody likes her and she's, shunned from the kingdom, or she can be kind of like a hero by protecting the Empire or the Emperor and fighting for him and also be semi-immortal. I'm not sure where it's going, but look at this cover. It's so gorgeous. It's so gorgeous. Next book is called Game Changer, and this is by Neal Shusterman. I really like Neal Shusterman's writing style. It's very quick, and I like the fact that he's got very short chapters, or at least a lot of the books that I've read by him do. And this one comes out again on the 9th. It's a YA sci-fi. And it says, Ash slides through worlds and dimensions. But it does say in the synopsis that he gets hit in the head during a game and then gets pushed into another dimension. So I wonder if he has a concussion, and the concussion is what gives him this time-traveling power. I don't know all about it, and I normally don't like time-changing books or time travel books, but it is Neal Shusterman, and so I'm hoping I'll like it. The Electric Kingdom, get rid of Arnold. I did read David Arnold's Mosquitoland, really enjoyed it, and then continued to buy his books even though I haven't read them yet. Story of my life. David Arnold writes YA coming-of-age contemporary books about a lot of people. They're always like road trip books, or they're all road trip books where our main character meets somebody and then that person and then they end up having a group at the end, or they've had like this experience over a week or 2 weeks on the road where they get to meet these people and like really talk about each other and their lives and emotions and everything. And this one is kind of the same. There's a lot of characters in it, but this is a why do I keep saying Wi-Fi? It's a YA sci-fi dystopian, and it's about a girl named Nico and her dog who must find this mythical portal, and as she's looking for this mythical portal, she meets up with a whole bunch of other characters that all sound really fun, and I can't wait to read it. This really cool cover, and it's called The Girl from Shadow Springs. This is by Ellie Cypher, I believe. This also comes out on February 9th. And the synopsis says it is like The Revenant, with Leonardo DiCaprio and the bear. The Revenant meets True Grit. I didn't watch True Grit. I did see The Revenant in theater, and that was pretty much as graphic as watching Passion of the Christ, which I also saw in theater, and The Mayan. Is that what the title was called? That one was also extremely violent and very bloody, and I didn't enjoy either of those movies. I can only handle so much blood before I'm just like, whoa, too much torture, too much blood. I can't do it anymore. But this one is about two teens who have to brave this frozen land called the Flats. And they're treasure hunters. So people who are looking for a particular treasure that is supposed to be buried in the Flats, they trek across this frozen landscape and then they die, right? They get frozen, hypothermia, they run out of food, whatever. They all die. And then these two teens are like the little thieves that go and they scavenge from these dead people. They take stuff. Well, our main character ends up taking this one thing, this item that one of the treasure hunters was carrying on him. But what he had on him, somebody else also wants. And so now they're hunting our main character because she has what they wanted. And so now instead of them hunting the guy, now they're hunting her. I don't know how they know that she has it, but they do. And I'm looking forward to that. That sounds awesome. I love stories about treasure. So if it's like National Treasure or The Mummy, both of those movies I really, really like. And maybe it's because I don't know. It's just very like fun and like family appropriate. Maybe. I don't know. They're cute movies. Then we have The Wide Starlight. Look at this beautiful cover. Oh my gosh. A lot of the covers are gorgeous this month. This is by Nicole Lesperance maybe? This book actually comes out on February 16th, and it's a YA fantasy magical realism. It's set in Norway, right? Yes, it's set in Norway, which I'm super excited about. Remember, I am scratching off the countries from my map. So I'm trying to like read all of the books from all the different countries this year, or seeing how many I can get through. So it's set in Norway, and it's about this myth or legend where if you whistle during the Northern Lights, the universe will suck you up and take you away. And so our main character witnessed her mom doing this, whistling to the Northern Lights, and then her just disappearing. But now that she's an adult, I think she's an adult, or she's like an older teen. I think she wants to know what happened to her mom, and so she's going to start investigating. But that just sounds so cool. I don't think I've read... I know that one of the, up to this point, from Jennifer Longo that I finished back in December, that talked about Northern Lights because she was in Antarctica, but it was actually the Southern Lights. I don't think I've read another book that talked about Northern Lights, and I've never seen the Northern Lights, and I really want to see it, so that all sounds very cool. The next book is called The Desolations of Devil's Acre by Ransom Riggs. This is the 6th book in the Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. Now, I've read books 1 and 2. Absolutely enjoyed them. Love the formatting with all of the old creepy pictures. Love the fact that all these creepy pictures are real, and that Ransom like goes to thrift stores and just buys them. Like, they're just random people's relatives, and you know, people used to just give their pictures away to strangers, to a store, and say, here, you can sell my face. I'm not famous, but here, take this. I think it's so bizarre. Again, I read the first 2 books. I do own Library of Souls, which is the 3rd and final book of Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, or so I thought. And then his wife decided that she was going to expand on her books that she wrote, and then so he decided to expand on his. Because I haven't read the third book, I don't know if it ends on, say, a cliffhanger, or if books 4 through 6 are in the same world, but they're kind of a spin-off. Like, do we follow the Peculiar Children instead of the main character, which I can't remember his first name at this time. But, so instead of us following him and his life after the Peculiar Children, do we just go back in time or more into the future and we learn more about the Peculiar Children or the people that get left behind? I don't know. If you have read past 3, should I continue buying the series is what I want to know. But it does come out on the 23rd. So if you're interested in the book 6, it comes out on the 23rd. And then we have The Initial Insult by Mindy McGinnis. Now, what I really like about Mindy McGinnis is that every single book she writes isn't in the same genre. So if you like contemporary, she's got you. If you like dystopian, she's got you. If you like mystery, she's got you. So you can pick and choose what kind of story you want to read from her. This one is an Edgar Allan Poe retelling of The Cask of Armalado. I don't know how to say the ending of it. I haven't read the original, but I do know what it's about because I think I listened to somebody read it to me when I was growing up, like probably in school. So I know the gist of it, but I haven't physically read it myself. And so I'm definitely looking forward to reading the original this month because I already pre-ordered this book because it's a Edgar Allan Poe retelling, and anything Edgar Allan Poe or Alice in Wonderland, I will buy. I will buy it. So, definitely looking forward to that one. And then the very last YA book that I want to talk to you guys about is The Valley and the Flood. This is another book that I had put on my most anticipated reads list last year around like the fall time, and they bumped the release date to this month. So this also comes out on the 23rd of February. This is by Rebecca Mahoney, and what really got me in this synopsis was this girl's driving her car. It breaks down like in Utah. Was it Utah? Or Nevada. It breaks down in Nevada, and when it breaks down, it's nighttime, and so she like looks over in the distance and she can kind of see lights, and she's like starts walking towards those lights, and it just so happens that the town that she ends up like walking to is like kind of cut off from the rest of Nevada. Like people, I don't know if people know that this town exists or they do and they just bypass it. But these people, they're like a cult, and she's part of their prophecy, and that sounds crazy. And the other crazy part is a radio broadcast of a voicemail from a friend that died kept playing in her car before it died. But the prophecy says that there's going to be a flood in 3 days that wipes out the town, and she has to save them somehow. And so that sounds really cool, right? I don't know. I think it sounds cool. Okay, so that was all of the YA books. I'm going to talk about the adult books now that are coming out in the month of February. So the first one is Point Roberts by Alexander Rigby. This one came out on February 1st, and it's a mystery. It says that Point Roberts is a small town off the peninsula of Washington State, which I've read quite a few books about islands around Washington State, like towards Alaska, and how they're kind of like cut off from Washington. You have to take a boat, a ferry from the mainland to the island, and they don't come very often. But the place is shrouded in the 15 deaths left from a serial killer. Now, what this place does is they wall up the town so the serial killer can never come back. but something happens. What happens? So, oh, okay, so the serial killer normally attacks in February. The wall keeps the town secluded from the rest of the world. 5 strangers decide to uncover the identity of the infamous Point Roberts slayer. So, we have a serial killer. It's a murder mystery. It's set on a secluded section of Washington State. And we have 5 people who are going to try to identify. And that sounds cool. I like it. It's a cute cover, right? This cover looks pretty cute. Let's continue on with number 2, which is An Eye for an Eye by Carol Wyer, I think. This also comes out on February 1st. And this is an adult detective crime story. Again, another serial killer book. The female detective is on leave right now. I'm not sure if she's planning on retiring, or maybe she's on leave because of a mental health issue. You know how sometimes if you're in a bad situation in the movies, I don't know if this happens in real life, but so say a cop accidentally shoots a civilian, or there's like a cop loses his partner, or there's like this huge thing and so many people die, or like, you know, trauma. So sometimes cops, because of the trauma that they deal with on a day-to-day basis, they need a mental health break where they're suspended with pay, like stay home, rest, do not come back. And so I don't know if our main character is on leave because of like that kind of thing, or if she just really wants to take a vacation, or she's changing jobs. But she is on leave, and she ends up going on vacation, and while she's on vacation, there's a serial killer, and then she gets sucked back in because she's there, and so she just, you know, volunteers, I believe, her time to this town that she's staying at. And I like crime, detective drama series books. This is book 1 in a series, and so I want to read it. And I like reading about, you know, women detectives. That's always fun. The next one is a nonfiction. It's 400 Souls, a community history of African Americans between 1619 and 2019, so 400 years. It's edited by Ibram X. Kendi, and it's just 400 years of Black history in America, the tragic and the triumphant. I'm really excited about this book because growing up in the United States, anything that seems ugly, like the country has done something ugly, the government has done something ugly, the majority of the people that live here, white people, have done something ugly. And so what happens is our history books in the United States tend to gloss over the ugly and just talk about what we have done. Like they might say some things about the ugly, but they only share the biggest news. They don't share everything. And then if you're not white or rich, then you don't get your stories told anyway. And with our Black Americans or African Americans that live here in the United States, a lot of their stories don't get told. And so we grow up not knowing the cool things that they have done and the sad things that have happened to them because it just gets glossed over. So I'm definitely looking forward to reading this. This book is another nonfiction, and this is called 4 Lost Cities, A Secret History of the Urban Age. This one comes out on February 2nd. What I think is really cool about this, oh, by the way, it's by Annalee Newitz. What I really like about this is that it's talking about 4 lost cities, not like Atlantis or the hanging walls of Babylon. Is that one of the ancient wonders of the world? 7 ancient. I learned that when I was like in 6th grade. But it is going to talk about 4 major cities that I've never really heard of, and I'm super excited because this is the kind of stuff I watch. Like, I will watch all the documentaries, anything on the History Channel, anything on the Sci-Fi Channel, or the Science or Nova, or I'm always into science and history is my favorite things to read about and watch. And so we're going to be discovering the Neolithic site of Catalhuyuk. That's not even close to how you pronounce it, but it's in central Turkey. The book's going to talk about Pompeii in Italy. It's going to talk about the medieval megacity of Angkor in Cambodia. I might have seen some of the temples. I know I've seen a lot of Cambodian temples like in shows, but I don't know if this is the city that I've seen in those TV shows. And then lastly, it's the indigenous Cahokia, maybe, which is a Native American here from the United States, which used to be where St. Louis is today. So it was like between Mississippi and St. Louis. That's where that Native American or indigenous tribe lived. And so that was a major metropolis back before, you know, the British came over to the United States to conquer. And so, yeah, that sounds interesting. I want to read it. Then we have The Sanatorium by Sarah Pearse. This one also comes out on February 2nd. It's an adult mystery thriller set in the Swiss Alps. Another thing that I can cross off my map. It's about Eileen? Island. I don't know. She's a detective on a career break and is at a new luxury hotel that used to be a sanitarium, and a girl goes missing and she decides to investigate. So, right up my alley, all the things that I like. Can't wait to read. Next one is called The Burning Girls, and this is by C.J. Tudor, the author of The Chalk Man, I believe. And I've seen The Chalk Man sold at the library bookstore and Book Off for $1, and I never picked them up. But this one sounds really good. So if this one's super good and I really like it, maybe I'll go ahead and buy that other book. But this is a thriller mystery horror set in a small English town with a history of death and disappearances, and they want to keep their secrets. They don't want anyone to know. But this new vicar that comes to town is just a little bit too curious. I want to know what that means. So, looking forward to reading that one. Then we have Sorrow and Bliss. This is by Meg Mason, and this one comes out on February 9th. It's an adult contemporary, and again, I normally don't read contemporaries, but this one is a mental health contemporary, and it's about a wife losing her life to depression. And so, I wanted to read that. I had dinner. Excuse. Do I have any Winstons on my mouth? No? No? Okay, I'm good. Number 8 of the adult books. Never Have I Ever by Isabel Yap. This comes out also on February 9th. And this is a collection of short stories. I really liked the cover. And it says that this is a horror, fantasy, sci-fi, speculative fiction. So it's got a collection. It does have a Japanese author. I didn't look into if it was a Japanese American or if it was a Japanese author that has been translated. But regardless, I love Asian horror, so I'm definitely looking forward to reading that one. The Memory Theater. This is by Karen Tidbeck. This comes out on February 16th, and this is a fantasy sci-fi with a parallel world called The Gardens. It's like a fairy tale realm where time stands still and the kids get like punished if they grow up. It's all very strange. There's 2 people that want to escape, Dora and Thistle, and they must escape before they grow up or there's consequences. There's 3 parallel plots going on at the same time that weave into one. And one of the Goodreads commenters said it was folkloric. Is that how you say it? Folkloric? Folkloric? So it's like a folk tale. And I don't have many fantasy books that I read from the adult genre. Even the, you know, YA genre. I like light fantasy. Epic fantasy freaks me out. I've tried several times to read like heavy high fantasy or epic fantasy, and I just never enjoy it. The words are not whimsical, but like just the country names, the character names, it's just too much. I can never remember it. They always sound the same. And so I'm looking forward to this one because it seems like light fantasy, if that makes sense. Number 10 is Kingdom of Shadow and Light. This is by Karen Marie Moning, and this is part of that Fae series, Dark Fever, that she's written. This one is actually book 11 out of the entire series, and it's silly that I say entire series because 11 books in a series is just already too much. I own 1, 2, 4, and 5, I believe. At first, I didn't think I was going to be collecting these in like this really long series, and I might actually even stop collecting them. It doesn't really have to do with price because all of the books that I've purchased for the Dark Fever series is or was purchased at $1, so it's not like it's a lot of money to collect it. I just don't want to waste my shelves on a really long series like that, especially if I don't know if I'm gonna like it. But I did put it on here to remind myself that I do need to start the series and find out whether I want to keep going and collecting the books or not. This is a urban fantasy, if you guys aren't familiar with this series. I believe it's set in Ireland, and it's a paranormal romance. Now, again, I don't usually read romances, although I can't say I have a black heart. I do, you know, like love scenes, and I think it's very, you know, cutesy and stuff, but I don't reach for romance. So if it's just in the book as I'm reading it, awesome, but I'm not going to go searching for it. So I'm not sure how heavy the romance is in this series, and whether it's like realistic or like just Fabio kind of fantasy relationships. I'm not sure, but if you are reading the series, the 11th book does come out. Then we have Quiet in Her Bones. This is by Nalini Singh, and this comes out on February 23rd. It's set in New Zealand, which I'm excited because my sister lives there. I went to New Zealand last year, and yeah, so I want to read a story set there. It's about an adult mystery. No, it is an adult mystery thriller, but we already know that. It's a mystery thriller about a missing socialite and the bones that were found later. So, from what I can remember from the synopsis, is that just like this, like I just said, there was a socialite who left a party or something, and then her bones were discovered, but people weren't, like, didn't know that she was missing, something like that. I can't remember, but it's a mystery thriller, and so I like mystery thrillers, so I want to read it. And then we have The Upstairs House. Now, this is the only adult horror book that I have on my list besides the Asian horror. And this is by Julia Fine. This also comes out on February 23rd. And it's a story within a story surrounding motherhood, which creeps me out. So it says it's Shirley Jackson meets The Awakening. And The Awakening is one of my favorite horror movies that have come out in the last like decade. I purchased it like right after I saw it on Netflix. And I like ghostly vibing movies that have a paranormal aspect to it that you don't realize is there, if you know what I mean. So This one says, there's a mad woman upstairs and only Megan Wheeler can see her. So our main character, Megan Wheeler, sees this person upstairs. I don't know. I really want to read it. I love ghost stories and I love like haunted houses. And so I'm hoping that, you know, it's a haunted house book. But yeah, looking forward to that one. Number 12. So that was all of the adult books. So we're done. I hope you found a book that you might be interested in reading this month. Let me know down below if one of these books were also on your most anticipated reads. If you have read another book by one of these authors, let me know down below, and what was your favorite book by them. And yeah, that is it. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!